So thank you guys for coming today for our great meeting. So as you can see, today I'm going to present a presentation which has a topic TDD in Drupal. Are you crazy? TDD is an abbreviation of test-driven development. So let's say we'll try to. Thank you. Technical guy.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks. It's better.
No.
Oh. As usual.
Looks better.
So yes, I will try to answer a very important question today. Is a developer who still have some friends in life, is able to code with Drupal using TDD? Yes. So I have inspired this presentation by a YouTube video from this channel. So if you are interested, just go there and check out what this guy is recording. So let's start. For the first slide, I will do some self-promotion. So yes, I'm Piotr Wakowski. I'm a remote Drupal developer at Pega. I'm from Łódź, so taking a short trip here today. So yes, working remotely as a member of Polish team, which is part of team that is based in Cambridge, in US. So my responsibilities are mainly working on internal and external sites, Pega sites that are based on Drupal. And let's say a bit of history, my history. I published my first HTML site in 1999, where the dial-up modems were on the agenda, and the king of social networks was, who knows? IRC. Yes, there was no IRC then. So yes, I'm professionally coding in PHP from 2007. I used to be a Symfony developer, so let's say a bit good background for the Drupal 8. And I started playing Drupal from 2015. It was a Drupal 7, so I was a little bit confused with all this stuff, no OPP, etc. So you know, it was not so simple. So let's get rid of the technical stuff here. Right now I will show some private information which everyone is waiting for. So yes, I do have family. It might sound weird, but I do have family, and for 3 kids, my daughter, son, and my 3rd kid, my wife. Yes, it's good. She is not here. That is why I can say this.
I will send her the video.
No, don't try. Don't try to send this video to her. All right. So, and yes, I do have some hobby. I'm an amateur car mechanics, fixing some stuff, swapping engines. By the way, this is my famous project. It's my 1992 Toyota Celica with V6 engine, which I swapped by myself from different car. The funny fact is that this car is the only one Celica in Poland with V6. And not so far away, I created a YouTube channel where I'm posting all my fixing videos. As you can see, no one is watching. So please subscribe.
Have 1 subscription.
Yes. All right. So let's say it's
11.
It's enough. It's enough for the self-promotion today, and let's move on. Yes, I'm really sorry, but this is the last slide of my presentation today. I'm really lazy. No, just joking. I'm going to do some live coding session today. So really counting on you guys, because it might be a bit tricky. So yes, let's start. So my first thought about TDD in Drupal was I've got one image in front of my eyes when I was thinking about TDD. And I want to share this image with you guys. Let me put the stupid microphone here. You got sound.
So, right.
This is how In my eyes, the TDD looks in Drupal. Sorry guys, sorry. Thanks for the laughs.
Oh, supporting you all the time.
So, got the video. That's good enough. All right. Finally, success.
So it's possible.
Yes, it's possible, but we'll try it in a second. By the way, funny fact about this video, this was opening in Łódź, in my city. Big shopping malls organizing the open event, and if you are fast enough, you can grab a free hamburger. So it's called Hamburger Rush. And the next funny fact is that I was in a team which was building the Drupal 7 site for this shopping mall. So after our deployment, final deployment on production, we've seen this. So yes. All right. So let me do some work here to prove our managers and business guys that we are really doing something here, and we earn for the pizza and the beer. So let's move on. Come on, work with me. I lose the. Oh, it's here. Some technical problems. Oh, sorry. I need to mirror my screen right now. No, it doesn't want to work at all, somehow. Is it good enough? No. All right, so let's move on. I will try to use the big screen then. That is why I'm standing not in front of you. Okay. So let's say we've got simple small module here. It's a clear instance of Drupal 8. And let's say we want to create some form. I'm sure we get a form. Yes, let's slice it out. So we've got here only 2 fields because we have not enough time today. So the first field is CSV. So let's say we will create a form with kind of user import today with the CSV field, and of course the submit button. So what I'm going to do today is to think about potential problems, write tests for them, and then write the logic. Of course, I'm not going to write any test for the Drupal API in terms of form API, because in my opinion, we need tests for that kind of stuff is useless. So we are going to test any custom logic we'll be writing here today. So the custom logic will be this validator, our custom validator for the CSV field. And of course, I put this method here in our module file. So yes, let's start. Let's say I will prepare 2 fixtures. The first one will contain a CSV file with wrong format and wrong separator, because let's say we'll be expecting a comma as a separator of the semicolon, and the second scenario will be missing columns. So we want to scan the whole file and check if there is no column missing. So let's prepare. Anyone can see the screen? All right. On the way?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm the closest.
It will be tricky for me to, using the big screen right now. So sorry for the speed. Let's try some tests. fixtures. Right. So let's write the first file. It will be wrong format, let's say. All right. It will be ID and username. Let's provide some data here. It's tricky to this big screen really. So we are creating our very sophisticated fixture here. Let's say it will be user second, third, etc. Doesn't matter. All right.
Too much beer before the presentation.
Yeah, we've got the first fixture. Let's create the second one. It should be missing columns. Right. So I'm smart enough to copy this one. Or not? Okay. Oh. Sorry. Right. So let's check. Let's replace this semicolon to the needed separator here. All right. So we've got two fixtures. Let's start with the wrong format. So I will be using unit tests because these tests are the fastest one. Of course, in Drupal we've got also kernel tests and functional tests and kind of JS tests. I don't know. So yes, today we are going to use just the unit tests. So let's start. Tests. Let's create directory and unit. Who is familiar with unit tests here? All right, and the rest of the guys. All right, so because most of the guys do not have very in common with unit tests, I will provide some intro. So unit tests needs from us building everything from scratch, let's say, because nothing is loaded already, like Drupal core, containers, etc. So we must mock objects and build some dummy classes, etc., to be able to test anything. Right, so let's start with the first test. Let's say it will be CSV validation test. My God, so hard. Try once again with the mirror screen because it's really hard. So what should I do right now to keep this set up? Any idea? Anyone?
Cross finger?
Maybe other windows. I don't know how to save it.
Maybe leave it as it is and bring the.
Yes, it's working. All right, so let's speed these things up. Oh my God, Dobra.
I think you must change the extension
Sorry,
of the test.
sorry. You are a good one. Because it should be PHP. Cool. So let's start. Right, so
Make the font bigger.
oh, sorry. Yes, it's very, very important. Okay. Let's say Drupal, TDD, Magic, and our tests and unit. This is our namespace, and class will be, of course, and it will extend the unit. Sorry, unit test base. This case is sorry, not base. This case. Right, so let's write first method here. Right, so what we'll need here will be the file itself, with the fixture we previously. So let's mod the file. Mock builder, and we'll use file interface here. It's file interface class. And get the mock, disable the constructor and get the mock. Alright, so we got the file, and we will need some method from this object. Let's say this method will be get file URI. To provide our path to the file itself. So let's say file expects any method execution method get file URI, and this should simply return. This will return value. And the value will be simple path to our fixture. Fixtures, and we should set the wrong format CSV. Cool. So we got the file. So let's prepare the first assertion. What's the assertion? Anyone knows? Assertion is comparing the first parameter with the second. So in the first parameter, we will be providing expected value, and second parameter will provide our method testing. So let's say we expect an array of errors with one error. There's with message like wrong format. Please use command. So, right, so we got the expected value. Let's fire our method with our file. So we are right now ready to fire the test for the first time. Of course, we'll be using our vendor being PHP unit. This PHP unit with configuration from web core. In web core, you can find PHP unit XML file. Basically, you can just adjust the file a little bit, and it's ready to go. And we'll provide the path to our test, of course. Right, so let's fire this off. Cool. It's not working. Why? Because we do not have this method. Anyone knows what to do next? No? Alright, so I'm going to use the most commonly used method here, so it's called, guess what, setup. Right. That's it. Public function. Come on. Setup, alright. And we'll just include once our file that we need. Alright, so let's check what's going on right now. It's not working because, of course, we are not returning anything in the method. So let's prepare something. Let's say we'll define here error stable array and provide the first error like this with the message from the second file. I'm smart enough to copy this. Okay. We return the errors. So let's check what's going on right now. So cool, yes, this test is working for the first time. Of course, we didn't do anything special right now, but let's say before we start the writing the logic itself, let's say we want to complicate our lives a bit. As you know, probably or not, the form API is expecting string translation object here, so we'll use the very known T function here. And let's try firing up the test. Just remember these guys on the stairs. Alright, so it's not working because we do not have the T function here. So what to do next? Let's say I have an idea that I would create a custom class and with static methods, so we do not have to mock this class in our test. And this class in the static method will call a static function T. Let's say I'm so smart that I will try this approach. Let's create the class. Let's say it will be CSV validation class here. Oh, I do not want to add it to Git, sorry. Right. Let's provide the namespace, of course. It's Drupal. So, the magic name. The class will be, of course. Right, so let's prepare the static function here. Let's call it CSV validation. Of course, this class is expecting file interface. Right, and we'll use logic from here. Sorry. Cool. And let's say I will try to use an approach like this. String translation trait and with static execution of the T function. Question for you guys, is it going to work or not?
Of course not.
Why?
I don't know.
Anyone?
Because you're asking.
Alright, so yes. You are no lifer. I knew it. Alright, so of course we cannot do this way. Why? Because the function is a non-static function. So this approach is stupid. So let's say we'll need an object here, like this. And what it means? It means that we can do static here, and we should make our class our of string translation trait. And let's say because of this, I want to use this class as a service, because then we can just call the service here and return data from the service. So just remember, we are still fighting only with the T function. We just don't even start to write the logic, the proper logic for this. So let's create a service. TDD magic services YML. Services. Here I'm providing the name for the service. Let's call it CSV validation service class Drupal TDD magic. Oh, this is the first guy just left. Sorry. TDD magic and CSV validation class. Cool. So we've got our service here, so we can just return Drupal service, our service, the magic, the validation, and our non-static method right now. It was here. Name. This is name. Right. And provide the file, of course. So, does it solve the problem with the T function? Let's try what we've got here. Anyone? An idea? The container is not initialized. So look here. Container is not initialized. What it means just of course, because it's unit test, we got nothing, so we must mock our container and make Drupal aware of it, and make the container aware of our service, of course. So let's try to do this. To provide the functional working again. All right, where is the test? Here. Right. So let's build the container. New container builder. PHP Storm is awesome. All right, so let's also prepare our service. CSV validation service here. Our new CSV validation class, and let's make our container aware of the service. Here I'm providing the name, and CSV validation, and of course providing the class we created. So this is our container, and let's initialize the Drupal. Drupal set container, and our container. So let's try it right now. Does it solve the problem? Of course, it's still not solved. Why? Because the function also needs sync translation service, next service. So let's try to solve this problem. I'm not going to create the object itself from the translation interface. I will just mock the object as a dummy object because it's just enough. Here, so let's write the string translation. Will be this get more builder translation interface, as far as I remember. That's right. Disable constructor and get the mock. So we got the mocked object here, and let's make our container aware of this object. So let's say the string translation service is our object. Right, so let's fire it up. Cool. T problem disappeared. So yes, I can congratulate you guys that you managed to, for I don't know, 20 minutes, just solve this stupid T function in the unit test. So right now, what's happening? With minus is the value we are expecting, and with plus we got the value that our function is returning. Of course, we are returning from T object, and we are expecting a string, so we must change our test here in the same way, like this. And of course, we should make our test aware of the string translations, right? Come on. Cool. So let's fire it up. Cool. It's working. Finally. Yes, it's good time for the collapse, but we still do not have any logic written right now. It's just a dummy. No, we are returning only a string and comparing a string. So let's write some logic, and this logic will be driven by tests. So, all right, let's load our file finally. Let's say fh. Sorry. Come on, work with me. And here we will provide our file with our mocked previously method here. All right, and let's say I will load the first row here with h. All right, so we've got the first row, and let's write some ifology, my favorite one. So let's say if the row is empty, or the count of the columns here is less than 2, got a small problem. So let's return some error. Return some error here. So let's say we will use, well, maybe I will just copy this. Right. this. So we've got our logic ready, so let's fire the test. Yes, it's working. In the first time in Drupal meetup history, we've got logic written by, driven by tests. So I'm really proud of you guys. And you're really proud of me. Yes, it's good time to clap. Thank you. All right. What about timing? Oh, we are good. Okay, so because we are so awesome, let's write the next test for the second scenario. And the second scenario was, let's open it, missing columns here. So let's prepare some missing columns. Let's say here we'll be missing the ID, and here we'll be missing the username. Right, let's remove this stupid empty line there, and let's go to the test. So we can just simply copy this one and provide the next assertion here with, of course, different fixture, missing columns, and this time we are expecting 2 errors, only one. So let's copy this and provide some error message. Let's say missing column ID in line, line. Let me check. It's line 1. We are holding the so we are missing a column ID in line 1. Of course, the idea is to scan all the lines and just return error where it's needed in the line that it will be needed. So this is the idea of our logic. So we are trying to write a test for it with the fixture. So then we'll know that our logic will work with this problem. So second error will be missing column username in line, is it line 4. So we've got test. Let's write some logic for it. So let's use something more sophisticated here. Let's say we'll use y. Right. Get the row. Got file. And also let's use something more sophisticated even. Let's use magic list function. And let's load it as ID and username from our row here. And let's do some if logic. If let's say ID is empty, let's prepare error for this. Alright, so let's copy the error message. Of course, we are not going to hard code the line number here. But this is, I will solve this in a second. So we got the first scenario. Let's try the second one. All right. This time, use this message. Come on. Sorry for this. Oh. Of course, we do not want to hard code this line number because the idea is to scan the whole file. So let's prepare some sophisticated iterator here. Sorry, let's say so we can just increment it in the beginning because just here we've loaded the first row, which is column names, so we can increment it. This will be working fine. So we provide some token here. Placeholder. Right. Let's use this line. Okay. So this will be tricky. Probably it will fail. Right. Let's fire this up. Let's see what's happened. Okay. So what do we have here? The problem is that I don't know what. Let's see. We got errors, so okay, we are returning RI, and in the test we are expecting RI here, but the problem probably is let's find this once again. Any idea? Someone was saying something. Good catch. Here? It should work like this. It's replacing the placeholder. So yes, it should work like this. Yeah. No? So let's say I would slightly modify the test itself. So let's use find here also. Here. Probably will also need a placeholder here. It's first line, so far as I remember. Come on, work with me. And it was 4 or 5? Oh, okay. And the line here. Let's check the file once again. Okay. It's line 1 and line 4. All right. So let's try fire it up. Still the same problem. Sync translation rate 953. Sys validation test 49. All right. I was afraid that it would be some kind of problem in this step. 49. Probably we are getting some kind of problem with the line number. Let's say I will make a line here and here. All right, so let's check. The problem is we are not even firing this. We are probably just hitting some kind of problem with this one. Or not? Yes. So what is going on here is that for this file, we are firing this method probably. Let's say that is here somehow. Yes, that's right. So let's try find out what's going on. We are expecting a comma, not a semicolon. It's a separator. That is why my fixture is useless. So let's say replace all, and then fire the test here. Right. Okay. So this time, what is the problem? Wrong format. Please use a comma as a separator. So still problem with our fixture, probably somehow. Yes. Empty line. Oh, wrong format. Please use comma as a separator. Still not good. What can be wrong with our file? Our file. Got the separator here. Come on. Just gonna open.
Your EDE adding the.
Yes, I know. It's adding the additional line. Probably that is why I'm hitting this empty here and trying the first error.
Close the file, open to on the some other text edit.
But you know, it should work, even though. It should work even though.
Enable debug and let's go.
Yeah, let's go. That's a good idea. So let's say I'll temporarily get rid of this. Get rid of this. So, oh, that is not good at all. That is not good at all. Because we're expecting something strange in the test. Uncon, format.
Maybe return should be string, not
No, probably not. Probably not. Let's see. We got the wrong format. Please use comma as a separator. That is, we're expecting this. So this is something wrong with this file, probably.
Yeah.
Wrong format. Oh. Can you see what I'm doing? This is the missing column 1, and this is the wrong format. So
Right.
I'm messing with this, messing with the wrong file here. All right, so this is here, and here we've got the file, first line, and the fourth one. And let's remove the last one. Cool. Sorry for that. I know. That is why I've said that I'm counting on you guys, because it's sometimes not so easy, even if you have some experience with this. Right, so let's file this up. Cool. So we've got risky test here. What it means is, let's say it's test printed out online. Okay, let's keep the risky test. Okay, so probably we are still having some kind of problem.
Maybe the echo function.
What?
Not this file. Or we have
Okay.
echo line.
Yes, you are very good. You are very good. Thanks, man. Save our time.
And a front end.
Finally. Front-end guys solved our unit test. Yes, so we've got 2 assertions working fine. So we've got 2 tests and 2 pieces of logic written, given by tests. We've got 1 minute. So let's say I'll provide also working file here. Let's use this one. It will be the final one. Don't worry. Correct one. CSV. And just replace the.
There's no time left.
Sorry, Thomas. Sorry, Thomas, for that. Okay, so let's do a final test. This time we will be loading the correct one. Correct one. All right. And of course, we are expecting no errors at all. So keep finger crossed. Yes. It's working. So that's it for first time in our Krakow community meetup. We got test-driven development live with Drupal. So yes, thank you very much. Thank you for your patience and for your solution for my problem. So I don't know if it's good that problem guy is fixing my code or not. Probably I'm useless. I don't know. So I'm waiting for any questions, guys.
Thank you.
No question.
No questions?
Thank you.
Thanks.
You have one.
Yes. All right. I was waiting for you.
I would like to ask you, what's the real difference between unit test and test-driven development? Because honestly, I don't see any in this presentation, right? So who is creating this test, and what's your workflow when you are creating some modules or websites? Could you tell us about this?
As far as I know, we are a little bit mixing the two things, because unit tests are. It's not the same to the TDD. TDD is just a name for approach, and unit test is a unit test. So TDD is just approach where you are in the first place, you are writing tests, and then you are writing the logic and etc. All the stuff that you need. So you are not writing, for example, a validator and then writing the test for it, as usual, or any other logic. For example, you've written something for views, some extension, custom extension, and then you're writing the unit test for this. The TDD approach will be to write the test and then write the logic, basically.
All right. So, what's your experience with this approach? Is it worth to work with TDD development or not? How much time does it take to create those tests? On which step of creating websites you have some analyze steps, right? You are meeting with client, or you are talking about website. So when are you going to create those tests? And last but not least, are these tests changed during development? So is this like cycle? You are making tests, development, again tests, changing tests. What's your approach?
All right. So starting from the beginning. I'm not sure if I remember the first question, but. What was the first question? I'm just joking. My approach is to, of course, as usual, as many companies, we are saying a lot about tests, but in everyday use, we are commonly not using it so much, just in the very important parts in our code. We are not using in everyday coding this approach. But let's say in a book it's written that if you are using TDD, you should get the requirements from the client or business guy. And then when you got the requirements, you are writing a test. Then you're writing a logic that will pass this test, right? So in this way, you are sure that you will always have a test for your custom logic, and you are secure. And in terms of cycle and changing the tests, for example, if the requirement is changed and the business guy is telling you to change something, you are doing the same stuff. You are opening the test you already written, and you are changing the tests in a way to pass to meet the requirements for business, and then write the logic for it. And the final result is a working application. So yes, it should look like this, I believe. Right.
TDD is quite popular on frontend.
Really?
Yeah.
There is any TDD?
Yeah.
Any object coding?
It's like test-driven development is very popular in frontend. We writing the test.
Do you use the TDD in bold design system? Because we've got a design system here in Pega.
No.
No, that's good.
No, because
that means you have some life.
we cannot do this because we have a lot of existing components, and TDD.
There is always a good reason not to write tests.
Yeah, but we have a lot of tests, like
a lot of reasons.
I think more than 400 on our design systems.
Right.
Like, it's quite okay, but the design system is not that big.
Right.
In the
beginning
of the year, we have zero tests.
Sorry, don't steal too much time. Let's move this conversation to after party, let's say. So thank you very much once again.